The Phoenix Suns signed Ish, but not exactly the Ish that the two of us were hoping they would.
Got that right.
We both and most Suns fans agree it's either a center or a point guard. I guess some still want a 3-and-D wing. But Ish Wainwright was not exactly what any of us were targeting. But I will say, the fact that he's on a two-way contract and this signing doesn't affect the open real roster spot that the Suns have, I'm having a difficult time not being happy about this. Like, Ish is home. I just think that a lot of Suns fans aren't going to be happy about this because they're already in a bad mood about the way the team is playing.
Exactly right.
And we've had all these players that we've wanted to go get. None of those have panned out. But I think people see this as a last resort signing.
Well, Gabe, it certainly wasn't the Ish that I wanted to sign, if we're going to be honest. I wanted Ish Smith, but instead we got Ish Smith at home by signing Ish Wainwright. And I got to be honest with you, Gabe, the signing annoys me. And I know it's a two-way, so it's not really that big of a deal. We still have a roster spot open. But what annoys me about this is, one, I love Ish Smith. I love that he's a good teammate. I love that the team loves him. That's exactly why they brought him back. A good locker room guy. I don't think he's going to garner a lot of minutes, especially on a two-way contract. We have a hard enough getting Udoka on the court or anybody else but Saben Lee for that matter. So to me, it's a good two-way for that reason only. The only reason I'm annoyed is because, one, it seems like we are having the hardest time filling this roster spot, almost as if no one wants to come play for us, which has me worried. We literally have Ish Smith available, a Frank Ntilikina available, among other veteran center options that we talked about before. And it seems like none of them are happening. You know, I believe that Frank Ntilikina could help us immediately and Ish Smith as well, but nothing seems to happen. It seems like every time we're connected to a name, they go somewhere else. They don't want to come to Phoenix. They go to Miami. They go to the Knicks. They go somewhere else that's not Phoenix. So I'm starting to really worry about that last roster spot being filled by a solid veteran player. I just don't think it's going to happen at this point. I think it would have happened by now. It's just not happening. And that it makes me worried that nobody wants to come here. But on the issue of Ish Wainwright, the subject of Ish Wainwright, I think it's a good signing on a two-way. It really does. It's just not the one that I wanted. It's not the news that I wanted today, especially after last night's loss. You know what I mean? That loss just has me somewhat broken as a Suns fan at this point, right? Like accepting that maybe we're not going to be the team that we thought we were. And so I'm looking for any mediocre player to sign with the Suns to give me hope, Gabe, to give us hope. I'm in your territory right now. It's kind of crazy.
I don't hate him getting minutes for this team. I think he can help rebound. I think he can help play a little bit of defense. This isn't a team that's stacked with defenders. Even though he's only 6'5", I would almost rather see him out there playing backup center than Eubanks.
That's a crazy statement that you're like, Eubanks has been so bad as a backup center that you'd rather have Ish Wainwright there, Gabe. Why not play Udoka at this point? You know what I mean? But that's a crazy statement.
It is, and I'm probably wrong. It's just
absolutely wrong.
The disappointment talking. But he can hit threes. He's not a terrible shooter. Playing him in a pinch, playing him when we're injured. I don't hate him coming in for Royce O'Neal sometimes to give him a breather. For a two-way, I think you could do worse. I'm sad to see Tio Maledon go, but Saben Lee has our franchise completely bewitched, and they think he's the guy. That final roster spot might end up going to Saben, and then you have another two-way to fill, which is not that important because the season's almost over. But do you see any benefit on court to having Ish Wainwright back?
He knows the offense, right? He was here during the preseason. You know, he was constantly in the gym working out with Frank and them. So he's definitely going to know the offense. He'll need a little bit of a refresher, but he'll know the offense and he'll be able to take over and be able to be inserted into a wing role immediately, you know, and that's a positive there. Defense, like, I'm not gonna lie, plays good defense. He's a big body. He won't get pushed out of the way. at 250, that's a big body in the NBA. But you know who else is about 250, Gabe? David Roddy. And he's not seeing any minutes whatsoever. How crazy would that be if Ish Wainwright starts to get more minutes over David Roddy? How would that make you feel? You know what I mean? It would be a little wild. But all things aside, it's not a bad two-way signing. It's really not. It's actually a really, really good two-way signing, in my opinion. And if it turns into him signing into the playoffs, at least we know somebody who's going to play defense and put in a good defensive effort if he needs to at the time. It's not the ideal option for me for that last roster spot. But once again, like I said in the beginning, I just feel like they're having a hard time getting vets to come through. I don't know. Maybe there's just this aura around Phoenix that veterans just don't want to go there because, I don't know, maybe the fan base, they don't like the fan base because, we're rough on opponents whenever they come into town. Maybe just there's an alert like, oh, we don't want to go to Phoenix. What's in Phoenix? Nothing. There could be that too. But it's starting to get a little concerning that we cannot get anybody to come through to play with Kevin Durant and Booker and Beal. Like it's starting to get concerning for me.
Well, I will hold out hope until the end that Ish Smith or Frank Ntilikina still get brought in. I'm a guy that wants us to get a guard. I know not everybody feels that way. But tell us what you guys think in the comments. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you to have Ish Wainwright back? We'll see you guys soon for the Nuggets live stream. Cross your fingers that we don't get blown out. See you soon.